Welcome back now. This is still the press coming to you live from the Abuja studios of KAFTAN TV. Right about now, we've been joined by Dr. Meffor. He is a media consultant, and with him, we're going to be doing the analysis to some of the headlines that we have read to you. You're welcome to the program.
Thank you. Thank you, Francis.
Yeah, it's good to have you again.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's just 8 days to the much anticipated general elections, and an election that has been described to be one of the most important in the entire democratic history of Nigeria, an election that has been described as one that will set the tone for if Nigeria will be heading to will finally become the giant of Africa, or Nigeria will be slipping down the pecking order again. But then I want us to start from the general overview, the state of things as it stands now. 8 days to the general elections, pockets of violence across states. Nigerians are not able to get cash either from the banks or from the POS operators. I just want us, let's take it from there before we go deeper.
Yes, you said an overview. I think the build up, the final culmination of the 2023 general elections, it's not as encouraging as one had anticipated. Many Nigerians are not attaching the requisite importance to the election by not giving a mouthpiece a chance. I say so advisedly because if you look around, you will see that violence is being orchestrated more and more here and there, and then the collateral damages incurred by such violence is rubbing off on the preparations of INEC and even Nigerians themselves. The INEC the INEC chairman, the chairman has said that the violence is a cause for concern to the commission, and what that means is that if the escalating violence is not dealt with sufficiently, a number of parts of the country may not be peaceful enough to enable INEC conduct the election in those places. This is very important because it has implications for the fulfillment of the constitutional stipulations for the declaration of whoever would emerge at the level being considered. The elections, will they involve state assemblies and state governors. In many places, I think the off-season election for states is just about 5 or so. That means in at least 30 states of the Federation, there would be state elections, electing the governors and the houses of assembly. Then, of course, you now come to the national House of Reps and the Senate, and ultimately the president of the country. There are constitutional stipulations that must be met for the declaration of those who are deemed elected by the commission. If violence does not allow these conditions to be fulfilled, then elections naturally become inconclusive in those areas. And woe betide us if it affects the presidential election itself. So
why did you say so?
No, I say so because for the president of Nigeria to be duly elected, there are 2 conditions that must be fulfilled. Condition 1 is that the winner, the person to be returned as elected, must score 25% of votes
across 24 states.
Across 24 states. What that means is that you must conclusively hold elections in a minimum of 24 states of the Federation. That is very clear. So if you cannot, you can return the president. That's the implication. And of course, condition 2 is the simple majority. That is not my worry now, because simple majority here means just one vote. You know, it could be 1 vote, 1 million, 10 million, just a vote. You know, that you scored, that is greater, makes yours greater than the next person, the runner-up. You know, so I'm therefore worried. And I think that Nigerians should be genuinely worried as well. They need to do something. And Mahatma Gandhi was the one who said, be the change you want to see. What that means is that in your little enclave, try and ensure peace around there. And then, of course, speak to those you can reach, and they make peace as much as possible, you know, so that this election would come and go. I believe that this election is so significant because, like you rightly observed in your opening play, the election would naturally open a new chapter, you know, in the nation's history, evolutionary history, you know, that would lead to a reset. Things have gone so bad to the point that, you know, the nation is on the floor. You know, when you are on the floor, the only way to go again is up. That is the truth. So it means that Nigeria is set for a total reset. You know, it does not matter who really comes in. You know, who comes in amongst the 3 to 4 front runners. The person would have no choice other than really facing resetting the country, and that is where the position of somebody like Atiku Abubakar of the PDP, you know, comes handy, because himself is fully aware of this. That look, the country has to be restructured.
Okay, you know, Dr. Law, before we go into a little bit of analyzing some of the developmental plans of the front runners. While you were making a submission, you talked about the fact that Nigerians are not ready. Nigerians, the attitude of Nigerians, it doesn't look like people who are ready for the elections. Is not.
They are not ready enough. You know.
Now looking at the pockets of violence, protests, the vandalization of banks' facilities, we are still coming to the cash crunch issues. But then, do you see any of this affecting the outcome of the elections in the long run?
I pity the APC, the incumbent federal government, because you don't allow this level of degeneration to occur if you really want to retain power at the center. Because you see, the country has become emotionally charged, and it is going to compel many Nigerians, if not most Nigerians, to vote out of emotion. You know, so what that means is that the anger that has been stirred, the animals that has been stirred, you know, within Nigerians against the federal government is something that should worry both the president and the APC as a political party itself. And of course, that may be, of course, why the APC presidential candidate at a point said that all these things have been orchestrated to stop him from winning. You know, well, it may not be a policy calculated to achieve that, you know, but it's becoming the outcome, you know, perhaps by default. I say that because, like I said already, many Nigerians are not really happy. And the reason is because of the poor implementation of the beautiful Naira redesign or recoloration policy. Yes, I say it's a beautiful policy because with a situation where you have 80 to 85% of the notes, the bank notes in private vaults, it's an aberration. It's not what is contemplated in any economy. It should be the reverse. What is healthy is 70% of the currency, the notes within the bank vaults, and then 30%, possibly lower than that, in the circulation.
In circulation.
But here is the, the reverse is the case. What we call means-ending fashion. That is crippling the economy. So the policy is really needed. Perhaps not at this point, but it's needed. But again, if you listen to the argument of the president before now and what he said during his nationwide broadcast only yesterday, he was applauding the policy as laying the foundation for stalling deployment of excess cash to sort of tamper with the will of the people to choose who they really want to have govern them. That ultimately is what the president wants to take away, from this policy and its implementation. And of course, even in giving concession that there is need, to have a more liquidity out there in circulation, he didn't want to move up the ladder of the currencies that you may say are more exclusive to the elites, to the political class. He approved that the 200 naira be recirculated to join forces with the new currencies, and then of course 100 naira, 50, even 10 and 5 that are not affected by the policy. So you can see that the president, I have had a lot of people say the president disobeyed the Supreme Court order that the old and new currencies should coexist between now until the final determination of the motion before it, filed by initially 3 state governors, El-Rufai, Zamfara and Kogi. Then some others have also joined them. Well, I'm not a lawyer. I don't know whether I would say that the president actually disobeyed the Supreme Court order. I would say that he met the Supreme Court at least halfway. He has agreed that part of the new, the new currency and the old, the 200 naira,
should coexist.
Okay, now till April 10th, I think.
Okay.
So I don't know, but I think even if he amounts to disobeying court order, I think this is one disobedience of a court order that I would personally want to agree with. I don't know, but I don't mind it. This policy should be pushed to its logical conclusion. Okay, now
you talked about the policy as a needed one, but the timing, the implementation really bad. With 8 days to the general election, do you see this policy conferring any sort of electoral advantage on any candidates? Then, secondly, you talked about the president may not have necessarily met the fully obeyed the orders of the Supreme Court, but if you want to look at it, this is a kind of disobedience that you may not necessarily want to raise an eyebrow about, putting into the consideration that you want the policy to be pursued to its logical conclusion. But then, can there be any logical conclusion here now that the #1 citizen of the country has blatantly disobeyed the Supreme Court ruling, the highest court in the land?
Yeah, well, all actions have consequences, right? If you disobey a court, a competent court, you incur what you call contempt of court, right?
Dr. Lo, let's take this call before you continue. Hello, good morning.
Hello, Francis and Mr. Lo, good morning.
Good morning.
Please tell us your name, where you are calling from.
I'm calling from Katsina. My name is Sunday.
Please speak on, Mr. Sunday.
My good brother, I'm happy for the conversation when Mr. Law is doing here. In fact, if anybody say Mr. Buhari disobeyed the law, I disagree. Supreme Court say that them should extend it. And now it's extended from February 10 to April 10. If you know what they say, Mr. President should extend it. And they extend it, then we should use 200 naira note. He has obeyed the law. If I make the advice, doesn't mean say whatever he said, I will follow it. You tell me, and I buy the idea. I say, okay, let's extend the 200, but I buy 500 and 1,000 naira. Look at all those governors, they are doing this, that. They are fighting for their own interest, not for the poor masses.
Thank you very much.
If you view what is going on in Nigeria today, if happens anything affect only poor people, no governor will come out and say anything. Look at how Boko Haram and everything are killing every day by day, kidnappers every day.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
So nobody should blame Mr. President. If he's only this one, Mr. President do to this country, I mark him 100% on it.
All right.
God bless Nigeria.
God bless you too.
Thank you very much.
Let's take another call. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Please tell us your name and where you're calling from. Your name again, please. From where?
Yes, I'm calling from Mefor State.
Please speak on. You have 60 seconds.
I want to ask, does the Supreme Court even have the power to grant an ex parte off without joining the CBN in it? I think it's wrong. So the best thing should have been, they should have even dismissed the case and refer it to the Court of First Instance. So it's absolutely as for me, the way I'm looking at it, the president is on track and in support of his policies. That's all.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You know, you see, I was talking about contempt of court. If you commit contempt of court, you are committed to prison or you pay some fine. Now that the person that has committed contempt of court, granting without necessarily conceding that the president has committed contempt of court against the ruling of the Supreme Court, then commit the president to prison. You can't, because he has absolute immunity. So the president is on top of the game. He understands this. He knows that the governors went to the Supreme Court to ambush him on the policy. And why are the governors doing this? One of them, in a media interview, said that they need physical cash to prosecute the election. That's what this whole thing is all about. It's not about Nigerian economy. It's not about Nigerian masses. It's not about the suffering of the people. It's not about insecurity. We have had massacres in the last couple of years, or what? The southern Kaduna, Benue, the southeast, all over the place. Governors never said anything. El Rufai recently talked about, he made a policy recommendation that people should be allowed to carry arms. He knows that the proper thing to do is to go for state police, community police, and that would require amendment of the 1999 Constitution. El Rufai, using his clout, which he has changed and acquired, should have been able to rally 24 other governors to visit the president, as they did in this Naira redesign issue. They didn't do that.
Please continue.
They didn't do that. The issue of insecurity should have been a primary concern of the governors. If they had gone to the president and said, look, Mr. President, we want state security, we want state police now, we want community police now, let us hear what the president would say. They never did that. They instead choose to
set this call, Dr. Law. Sorry. Good morning.
Morning.
Please tell us your name and where you're calling from. Hello, good morning. We lost.
You get the point. They didn't do that. This some policies that if the governors had come together to pursue, we would understand it. When ASU was shot
for 8 months.
Look, many Nigerians forgot that universities were shut for 9 months in 2020, and again in the last 1 year, shot again for 8 months. What did the governors do? Nothing. It didn't concern them. Their children are not in Nigeria. So why would they bother about Nigerian educational system? Talk less answer. So you can see that this is all about them. Why is it about them? They have accumulated hard cash in foreign and local currency for this 2023 general election. And that is what Buhari is targeting. Buhari doesn't want that money to be deployed to this election. In fact, after the general elections, don't be surprised that Buhari will say, okay, let the two currencies run for, and let the terminal date be decided by the incoming administration. Yes, because his primary objective is to stop this cash from being deployed to this election. And that has always been it. Vote trade. The politicians who can't win elections in Nigeria, who are not coming to receive the mandate of the people, rely on excess cash, manipulating poverty. Because they know that Nigerians have been so pauperized that 1,000 naira is money now.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Please, what's your name and where you're calling from?
Am I calling KAFTAN TV?
Yes, you're on to KAFTAN TV. Tell us your name and where you are calling from.
My name is Daniel. I'm calling from Taraba State.
Please speak on, Mr. Daniel. You have 60 seconds.
Please, I am so happy with this policy that the federal government... Okay? Hello?
We can hear you. Please speak.
Yes, I say I'm happy with this policy that the federal government have just introduced. Yes, I want to encourage the president not to give up, because this policy will correct some things and will help us in this country to move forward. Because all this noise that people are making, most of them, this policy is affecting them because they have stolen money and they have hidden it. So we, the farmers, will endure this one for some few months. But I encourage him, and I'm also pleading to Nigerians to just be patient with the president. Let us watch out what is about to happen, because these things will help the poor people to come out from poverty.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I totally agree with him. You see, the president, of course, listened to the cries of the people, but he knows that the majority of the masses are not really looking for that humongous amount to do what with. Do you understand that? Just basic operational funds that they need to run their day-to-day activities. 200 naira can solve that. They don't need the 1,500 naira denominations. They wouldn't need it. Enough in 200 naira will be okay to even 100 naira, right? If you want 10,000 naira and you are giving 10,000 naira in 200 naira or 100 naira denomination, even 50 naira denomination, it will not be too much of a burden to carry that. The masses will be okay with it. But these rapacious politicians will not be. They will not be because they need the higher denominations.
So
today even 500 naira is a lot of burden. They need it in a 1,000 naira denomination, so that a million naira will come handy. That is the way they move cash. Here is the only country where you buy a whole house, spend 1 billion naira buying a whole house in cash. It doesn't happen anywhere. Why is it so? Why are they engaging in such huge financial transactions in cash? Because the source of the money cannot be justified. They don't want to leave paper trails. Otherwise, EFCC, ICPC will be on their trail. Do you understand that? That is what this whole game is all about. And they have accumulated so much money. I was listening to, I think, a large Buba Garadima, saying that they had it in confidence that a certain governor from the northwest has accumulated as much as 22 billion naira
to prosecute the election.
That's it. That's what this whole thing is all about. So when you say that you want the masses, to take back their country, it's not possible when they have been pauperized to the point that Even 500 naira makes sense to them.
So now, do you see this whole thing now conferring any sort of electoral advantage on any?
It confers advantage only on one segment of the society, Nigerian masses. Do you understand that? You know, the forces of demand and supply in economics is that once there is no supply, there will be no demand. So if the money is not there, the masses will be compelled to vote according to their conscience. But you see, even in social psychology, even in the realm of religion, right? Survival comes before morality. Do you understand that? When people are so hungry, somebody who woke up on election day, you know, without any meal for that morning, probably went to bed without a meal previously. If he sees 1,000 naira, that money, he can take it, and justifiably so. So the most important thing is to ensure that that bait is not available.
It's not available. Let's take another call.
I'm not saying that this policy will completely...
Hello, good morning.
Hello. Good morning.
Please, what's your name and where you are calling from?
My name is Adeniyi Paul. I'm calling from Cross River.
Mr. Adeniyi, please speak on. You have 60 seconds.
Okay, I want to say that for me, one of the best policies I've seen so far in this administration is this money redesign. But the issue I have with it is the way of it is being implemented. The implementation is the problem here. When they are supposed to disburse funds after the deadline was pronounced, money was not reached out to some parts of the country. As I'm talking to you, right back Cross River North here, we hardly seen those new notes. All we had was the 500, the old note even. And so, up to the time the Supreme Court moved forward, they came into the scene, we're still having old notes. The banks at our side here were not dispensing a new note to us. And so for me, the CBN failed in their part by not monitoring the money that was given out. Okay, if they monitor all the banks and make sure that they dispense appropriately to the masses, we will not have this problem. Now, the same politicians which these policies were designed to cope election vote by it was these same politicians who also hold this money by themselves, on top from bank managers, get it and store in their houses. So they can use them in the election day. Okay, look at it. Now that it is like this. How about Kosovo North? We don't have new news. How about we have here? I went to the market and sold money. I sold the one I sold yesterday, roughly 80,000 was all good news. How do we get in new news? Now look at now, okay, on the election day, if you come across a politician who come and give you 500 or 5,000 of new news, you will definitely collect because you don't even have your money. And the only you have, you can't use it.
Thank you very much, Mr. Uche.
It's a very good policy, but the implementation is the problem here. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
He has a point.
Yeah, a lot of Nigerians have, they've talked about they've hailed the policy as a good one, but have called the implementation into question. Now, let's talk about let's look at it from the angle of implementation. What is it that the federal government and the CBN could have done differently to make this the implementation a seamless one, and how they could have avoided this backlash from Nigerians that is currently being experienced now?
Mefor and his top management decision-making body didn't think through the implementation process properly. It's evident in the shoddy way the implementation has gone. Obviously, they didn't print enough new currencies. It's very clear. And the ones they printed, like the last caller rightly observed, they didn't monitor its disbursement. I was told that the bankers were selling these currencies for as high as 30%.
Wow.
For example, if you are a banker and you sell 100 million of the new new note, you give the buyer 70 million. and keep 30 in a single transaction. You are able to do that for the fact that you occupy the position of a bank manager and nobody is watching you. So that oversight function of the CBN was lost on them. They didn't do the work at all. I had expected that long before rolling out the policy, they would have gone into proper understanding and alliance with ICPC, with the EFCC, with the fraud unit of the Nigerian police to police the banks. You know, we have enough security men to police our banks. That way, the money that came in, you will be able to keep tab on it. Do you understand that? But there is no such mechanism, obviously. I had a Mefore threatening the POS operators. Has it bothered to find out how these POS operators source the money?
Okay, now enough of now let's look at the governor of Kaduna State, Nasir El-Rufai, where he alleged that some retired generals, losers of the APC gubernatorial and presidential primaries, want an interim government. For about 2 weeks now, there's been this talk of an alleged plot to install an interim government. I mean, taking a look at that very statement, that comment coming from a man who's supposed to be an authority in the modern day Nigerian politics. I'm talking about Nasir El-Rufai. Now, don't you think these comments are capable of inciting more violence, heating up the polity, especially at a time when we are just 8 days to the elections proper?
Well, you see, in one of my recent articles, I wrote about this, that the level of corruption in this current APC government is so high that the perpetrators may not want to give up power. I said it here. I think even on this your platform also. And it's also dawning on them that their presidential candidate is not sellable. They are now desperately looking for alternatives. But El-Rufai was one of the governors that imposed or supported the emergence of Tinubu. A great guy, no doubt. But we can see that his health is obviously what Nigerians are not prepared to take chances with. That's the problem here. Tinubu, I don't have anything against him as a person. You understand that? But it will be tragic. It will be total disaster for Nigerians to take a chance with the kind of health conditions he is presenting. Do you understand that? You call for national anthem and an incoming president is throwing up his hands in the air. You know, it shows total disconnection with reality. Do you understand that? And it's not a good sign in psychiatric analysis of health conditions. You know, so I don't know what is wrong with him, but certainly something is not sitting well. And people like El-Rufai are beginning to see that. In fact, I saw a video where El-Rufai was actually questioning the health integrity of Tinubu. I will send it to you. It's a video, not even an audio. So he spoke in Hausa, and my Hausa friends interpreted it. This is what El-Rufai is saying. You know, so it's late in the day when they refused to follow decency, honor, and all those things, and went for other considerations because of what you call elite conspiracy, where they gang up against the Nigerian masses. The X factor that may be God himself here may be the ones that play them out.
Let's take another call, Dr. Love. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Please tell us your name and where you are calling from.
Oh, my name is Chinedu. I'm calling from Lagos State.
Chinedu from Lagos State. You have 60 seconds. Please kindly turn down the volume of your TV set. Please kindly turn down the volume of your TV set.
Okay, thank you. I'm watching your program. I want to thank. Okay, thank you.
All right.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you clearly.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay. First of all, I want to thank our father, Mr.
you. I love him each time I see him on the. Okay. I want to thank our brother in the studio. Each time I see him on the studio, I feel joy.
Dr. Law.
And we thank God for everything.
Thank you.
I want to say, I want to appeal for Nigerians to have patience. Allow the CDM and the people to do what they want to do, because they have studied on things that is going wrong in this country. And I want to say, all these people that cry now and cry and cry, where were they when the students were at home for 8 months? Kidnapping, killing, now, because of living, this of 50,000, where are they? Now they are shouting and complaining. Please and please, let's allow the governor to do what they want to do, and I believe Nigerians will enjoy end of the day. Thank you. God bless Nigeria.
Thank you very much.
I agree with
Dr.
him.
Law, you can continue.
So you see, you know, El-Rufai has not been fair, you know, even to himself. You see, he's somebody I have so much respect for, so much regard for, even though I don't agree with many of his policies. When he was the minister of Abuja, he cleaned up this place. We give him credit for that. And Abuja has been rising based on that fresh foundation he laid. He made very direct effort for the recovery of Abuja's master image. And of course, when he became the governor of Kaduna, we were happy that he would do something similar to Kaduna. And I believe that in terms of infrastructural development, El-Rufai has brought so much to bear on Kaduna State. But when it comes to the survival of the Nigerian nation state, it's a unity and development. He has not come to the party. He is too sectional, too partisan. Do you understand that? Men like him, if El-Rufai will be able to rise above the phrase of religion, ethnicity, you know, sectionalism, he would emerge as one of the best leaders ever, because he has very concrete courage and vision, and an urgent sense of mission. He has these things going for him. But these things are almost vitiated, sometimes invalidated, in terms of deployment. Because deploying them, you will see that intended outcome, is tainted by, religion, ethnicity, and such primordial sentiments and factors. Coming back to the issue he is raising about the talk, concerning interim government, El-Rufai doesn't have to address the media. What he is saying is treason. He is actually accusing some people of treason. If he has concrete information, and I don't doubt that he has such information, because if you understand how the state operates, a state governor receives security report every morning. He digests that as he's doing his breakfast, after prayer for those who believe in God, right? If he has such information, it's not for the consumption of the media. He should take it directly to the president. Do you understand that? And the president will work with the service chiefs to verify the veracity of such a claim and deal with it as urgent as possible. But it's not what we are seeing. So I see this as flying of kite by El-Rufai. El-Rufai is flying a kite. And what kite is he flying? He is gauging the mood of Nigerians. What will be their response should this become a possible outcome? In other words, he is part of those who are weighing options other than direct election. That's what I see. I didn't train in psychology to PhD for nothing. So I take what he has said concerning this with a pinch of salt. He knows more than he's telling us. He knows more than he's telling us. And we expect the DSS, the defense headquarters, to ask questions.
Ask questions.
Yes, ask questions. People are plotting interim government based on what constitutional provision? Do you understand that? Yes, if the nation is convulsed to the point that there is an eruption, yes, there may be a kind of intervention, but it will be an extraordinary measure. At what point will you be doing this? If you do so, what section of the Constitution are you trying to invoke? The only one I am familiar with is the one that says that if the country is in a state of war, the National Assembly may elongate the tenure of the subsisting administration for a renewable 6 months. That is the one I know. So under what basis is El-Rufai proposing or suspecting an interim government? I don't think he's suspecting an interim government. I think he's proposing an interim government. Yes, he has to come out clean because there are no basis for it. And that reminds me, the governor of Edo State, Obaseki, only days ago accused his immediate predecessor, Adams Oshomole, of instigating the violence in Edo State, which even involved in the burning of a CBN office in Edo State. If people at that level, a very close ally of somebody like El-Rufai also, if you understand how APC runs, you cannot see where El-Rufai may be coming from. Why are they sponsoring violence? Because for a governor to accuse his predecessor, and he tried to bring out facts to prove that he did, that the Oshomole is the one instigating and sponsoring crisis in Edo State. And it's not only in Edo. We have seen flashes in Lagos, we have seen in Delta, we have seen here and there. Essentially in southern Nigeria, what is the goal of those who are sponsoring this? It is to justify an interim government. Nigerians must resist it. This election is doable. In fact, Nigerian masses should read the handwriting on the wall and refuse to be mobilized. Okay, now, and of course, the government is responding to the cash crisis. Okay, now,
our time is fast spent now. Our time is fast spent now. Now, let's look at Governor Wike's recent interview where he shut down any expectations for a possible reconciliation between the G5 governors and the campaign team of Atiku Abubakar. What should be the way forward from here now in 2 minutes, because our time
for PDP,
for PDP and for Wike himself, you know, considering the fact that the court has also given an order that has barred PDP from expelling Governor Otom from the party.
And Wike as well. Wike first went to court. When Wike went to court saying the PDP cannot expel him, I laughed. It is a house you are trying to bring down, you know, and you are afraid of being chased out of the house at the same time. This is approbation and reprobation. You know, Wike is suffering from very grievous self-inflicted injury. He shot himself in the leg when he prevented the PDP from zoning their ticket to southern Nigeria. Wike knows that he was the one that shot that the ticket didn't go to south. He made sure that the ticket was thrown open. When he moved and worked for the ticket to be thrown open, did they not consider the possibility of the emergence of somebody like Atiku Abubakar? That is exactly what happened. So he committed a grave error of judgment, and he is now hauling himself over the coal. The way forward for him is to remain quiet from now on, and of course PDP itself has since moved on, and they should continue on the trajectory. Okay, now, they will win without Wike, I believe so.
Thank you very much for your time. It's been an interesting moment with you today. Thank you so much for honoring our invitation once again. All right, now viewers at home, that will be it for this segment of the program, and as we'll be rounding off the program this morning, I would love to remind you to stay away from electoral violence, stay away from vandalism, stay away from thuggery, because Nigeria is currently going through a cash crunch right now, and the more we keep vandalizing these banks' facilities, the heavier the consequences comes upon us, and we bear the bigger brunt of the whole event. My name remains Francis Adeniyi. Do well to have a very beautiful weekend. See you again, same time, same station on Monday.